So I just want to make sure that we are live on YouTube. It says you're live. Okay, we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and tweet this out as well so everybody can find and let everybody know that we are live. Bingo. Okay. So doing a little stuff. All right. So yeah, let's talk about the game. What just in general, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts initially are we got a lot of stuff behind us at this point, a lot of baggage off the board. Mm-hmm. We got our first win under Freddie Kitchens. We're past Hugh Jackson. We're past Greg Williams. Mm-hmm. We're past OBJ in New York and his return. He had a great game, tremendous catches, including the big long run. We're starting a new era. We are. It begins now with this win. Mm-hmm. We don't want to peak too early, obviously. So it's good that we're still, feeling our ways through these first two games. We want to peak towards game 10 or 12 or going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Our big test is next week as we get ready for
the Rams.
Yeah.
I caught some of the Rams game this weekend. I just watched, since the Browns weren't on, I just was watching the Red Zone channel and caught and you know what? Even though they were a Super Bowl team, they look beatable. They didn't look dominant. Goff looked pedestrian. And I have Goff in my fantasy league, so obviously I had a little skin in the game to watch what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's got good wide receiver, Cooks and Roberts and Kupp. I mean, they are good.
And Gurley's not 100%, is he?
I think he is. I just think that they're just taking it easy with him. I don't think they're running with a bunch of different running backs. So I think they're just taking it easy because he's been a workhorse for them.
Right.
Over the last couple of years. So it's like they don't want to burn him out because they know they're going to need him in the playoffs, and they really didn't use him all that much in the Super Bowl. I remember watching that game, and I was like, why is he not playing? But anyway, back to the Jets game. So let's talk about that. We got off to a fairly decent start, but after the first two drives, even with the Odell Beckham catch, like the one-handed catch, and we only coming up with really 6 points after the first two drives, having great field position and not being able to convert all that well, that was a little bit scary to me.
I thought the play calling on the first and goal after the OBJ catch, I thought the three plays that we called were terrible. One was a running play that got stuffed. Mm-hmm. The second one was a quick slant, I guess, that never materialized. It didn't gain a yard.
Yeah.
And then I think he sprinted out to the right and threw one over the head of somebody in the far end of the end zone.
So, I think he was throwing that away. I think that was just tossing it away. Right. There was nobody open.
Three plays and we couldn't move it at all, and we had to settle for the field goal. So I think the play calling could have been better on that first and goal.
Yeah, I think about in football in general, when you're down first and goal, if you have 5 yards to go, those are those like 2-point conversion type plays, stuff like that. You have to have a package as a offensive coordinator and Freddie Kitchens calling the plays. You have to have plays that are just going to work. We didn't throw. I mean, if you think about what we did last year with Njoku dumping him to the corner, Jarvis Landry to the corner routes. And you can, even if you're not going to throw it to Odell, you can use him as a decoy like so effectively because they're going to hone in on him so much. So it was disappointing that we only came away with 6 points. And meanwhile, at that point, Simeon's still in, and anything can really happen at that point in a 6-point game. So I got a little bit worried. And then when Chubb scored the touchdown, I was like, all right, I'm feeling a little bit better. But the positive note, I mean, getting two really nice field goals from Austin Seibert, and he was 3 for 3. He made his
confidence boosters. They get those too early when it's not as much pressure to get those under his belt, and then an extra point as well. Yep. So he scored 11 points in the game. Out of the 23, 11 were Seibert's.
Yeah.
So he had a really good game.
Yeah. He made his points, which is good. You want that confidence. I mean, that's one of the question marks for the season. But now, really, a lot of the question marks are the offensive line. That
Their
is a problem.
defense was great. They held them. They dominated them. We got great field position early on between the defense and the punting. High kicks, long kicks. So the kicking game was in good shape, and the field position that we got was literally dominant throughout the first half. And it was only with a penalty that they got into field position where they could kick that field goal for 3 points.
Yeah, good stuff. I felt as though Baker looked a little bit off again. He did. We got a couple guys in chat. Mick the Dog, what's going on? T Money, how's it going? Joey Naranjo, how's it going?
We got a lot of early breaks. The penalties that were called on them, not very many penalties on us, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
So, the reverse of last week where they were all called on us, the Jets sort of self-inflicted themselves. Every time they had a nice play, it got called back because of holding or offsides or, flinch by the offensive line. They just, and that's a function of having a backup quarterback in there that these guys are not used to. So the delay of game, they got called for a delay of game. We had one where the clock, in my opinion, I saw it expire before the ball was hiked, and Browns got away with it, and he made a first down. So we got a lot of the early breaks.
Yeah. Mick the Dog saying, I get the sense Baker looking at OBJ every play. Wicked Bad says, honestly, should have beaten them 43-3. Yeah, we were actually, if we score touchdowns instead of field goals, it looks a lot closer to that 43 number. But I think the good news about that is if you're going to give like some warm-up reps, some in-game warm-up reps to your kicker, this is kind of the game to do it. We were expected to win this game, and after when Simi came in, and he came in cold, what was he passing on the day? 3 for 6. He came 3 for 6 for 3 yards. He came in cold.
But one of them was dropped right over the middle.
That's true.
He makes that play, and they got 20 yards, and they get out of a hole, and it looked worse than it was on the first when in actual live. When I looked at it in the replay, and they showed him over the middle and the ball coming, he actually had to extend himself to make the catch. Good receivers make the catch. He got one hand on it and made it look like he should have caught it, but I think he let him just a hair too much. And but even makes that play. It's 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. Yep.
And one of the amazing things. So I don't know if I was telling you this yesterday. I was down 13.2 points or something like that in my fantasy game, and because we got that fumble recovery, because I had the Browns defense. That was the only guy. I had Browns defense and Njoku, and Njoku gets injured, so I'm like, great, this is gonna be bad. And because we got that fumble recovery at the end, it pushed my team over, and I ended up winning by a fraction of a point because of that. So thank you, Browns defense, for delivering me a victory in my fantasy league. So
the punts that Landry ran back were good.
Yes, I agree.
We got some yardage on those. I was surprised to see him take. I think he took every one except towards the end where they took him out and they let Johnson get a couple to make sure Landry didn't get hurt. He wasn't needed at that point.
Yeah, but he didn't return it. Johnson didn't return it. Just Jarvis.
Okay. I thought I saw Johnson at the end. He took one at the end. But
looking at the box score right now, it looks like Jarvis had 4 returns for 48 yards, averaging 12 yards. I'll take that.
Yeah, sure.
Now the only thing is you're kind of opening up one of your star players to a special teams potential. You're going to get knocked around on special teams, but if a guy like Jarvis is going to be back there, you're going to be shorthanded. So somebody's most likely not going to drop the ball. A dynamic player, so when he actually gets it, he can attack and start getting us in good field position. And he's a threat to take it to the house. So, and then you saw what we did with Odell yesterday. Odell 6 catches, 161 yards, the big 89-yard touchdown. Man, when I saw that play, it was just a quick slant cut route. He hit him in stride, so he didn't have to slow down at all. Hit him right in stride, and Odell had breathing room, and then he made that cut. When he made that, when he was going for the corner of the end zone, and he made the cut to go the other way, and their safety just kept kind of fading out like that, and then his speed took over. They said there was an analytic that he went 21 miles per hour running at his peak speed was 21 miles an hour. Like, you realize that 21 miles per hour in a school zone, a 15-mile-an-hour school zone, would be a speeding ticket, and Odell did that. I think it's amazing. I think he showed.
I think the other thing that freed him up, and correct me if I'm wrong, getting plays confused, but didn't the guard pull out and go directly to the corner or to the safety and pancake him, or is that a different play
on the Odell touchdown?
Yeah. Yeah,
I honestly didn't even look at what the offensive line was doing, because they would have had to drop back in a pass coverage for that. If they would have gone, I guess they could have after the ball is thrown, they could have gone upfield. So I don't know. I wasn't really looking at it.
I have to go back and look at it. I was in the car all day today. Didn't get a chance to go back and look at the game.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it. But that was a key play where the guard pulled out and pancaked either the safety or the corner, and it just went for a long game.
Yeah. We got Mick the dog saying you're going to say homer here, but I think we're going to beat the Rams this week. I think I was saying this on Twitter. I'll say it again. I thought the game yesterday was the most important game of the season. I think that it set the tone. It got us off the schneid. It got OBJ happy and well fed yesterday with 6 catches, 161 yards. He made a lot of that, yards after catch, which is fine. Freddie Kitchens got his first win as a coach. Our kicker made a whole bunch of kicks. Our punter made a whole bunch of great punts. Nick Chubb got a nice touchdown. Baker threw for over 300 yards, although he had one kind of ugly interception. Still okay. I think that we knocked a little bit of rust off. This is what we all expected week 1, right. Whereas we had all the penalties happening to us, all the soul-crushing, drive-crushing penalties happening to us. What's going on, beautiful Crow? Just letting you know, beautiful.
The game plan got a little out of balance when I looked at the numbers late on. After the game, we threw the ball a lot more than we ran the ball, and I think you want to have a balanced attack. We could have run it. I think Chubb got stuffed a couple of times, and then they started to get away from it, and they let Baker throw the ball. I agree with you. It obviously wasn't his best game. He was 50% completion.
Yeah,
I threw a lot. And the interception wasn't a real bad one. I mean, he threw a bullet. He hit Odell, I think, in the hands. It got popped up in the air, and that's how it got intercepted. It wasn't like he threw it behind him. He did miss him early in the first half. Odell was wide open by 10 yards. He beat the safety, and he threw it behind him, or threw it over his head. And he wasn't under pressure at that point. He had moved out and moved up. And instead of setting and throwing, he sort of threw it on the run as he was going forward, and that sailed it over his head. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown. I
think Baker right now is getting a little bit excited. He's got to knock some of that jitters off. And I think there could be a couple things that are creating that. It's early in the season. He still is a young quarterback. I think he has a lot of pressure. He put a lot of pressure on himself, and everybody's got a lot of pressure on the Browns, so they want to see him perform. So I think there's a lot going on psychologically with this, that over time, as they settle in deeper into the season, after it's kind of like when you're playing golf, your first shot off the tee when everybody's watching, you really want to have a good, and you're thinking about it, you really want to have a good shot, and then by the 9th hole, the 10th hole, you're in your rhythm and nobody cares anymore. And if you shank one, you're like, I shanked it. But you don't want to start off around like that. And I think that's what's going on with Baker. I think he's thinking about it too much. And then on top of it,
holding on to the ball too much, because I think they were running plays that were 15 to 20 yards deep.
Mm-hmm.
You need a lot of time to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You need great protection, and so when and they made the comment in the booth, a couple of comments. One, they said, well, he hasn't even had a full season under his belt. He only had 13 games last year, so he's still on the rookie side. And second of all, he was playing against Greg Williams, who knows him, and they were saying in the booth
good point,
that Williams was showing him one thing when they lined up, and Baker was thinking, oh, it's either zone or it's man. And then just as the ball was being snapped, they changed it. They changed it from one to the other, and they said that was confusing Baker. It would have been interesting to hear what his comments were after the game. Did that confuse him? Did that make him hesitate? Did he not understand as best as he could what they were throwing at him from time to time? Obviously, they didn't do it every time because he did complete a good fair number of passes. But when they switch up like that, and your defensive coach knows you that well, he's obviously going to try to play to your weaknesses. And being a sophomore, he and being Greg Williams, as good a coach as he is, he developed some stuff that was going to confuse Baker.
Yeah, and the Jets' defense isn't terrible. I mean, their offense is the thing that was beat up, and it just goes to show how important the quarterback position is. You can't plug and play that position. You have to have somebody who is a solid. And God, we've known that. I mean, ever since we came back. If you don't have somebody that you can rely on that can make those plays, and whether Darnold is that guy or not, he at least got the reps, and he was at least the de facto starter guy. I mean, it wasn't like there's no controversy with the Jets if Simeon's going to get a start anytime soon. So the fact that Darnold wasn't out there was pretty much already the nail in the coffin. It was just like, can the Browns go out and execute? Just like, can the Ravens go out and execute against the Cardinals? Can the Ravens go out and execute against the Dolphins? It's the same sort of thing. So I think we passed the test that we can beat teams that we're supposed to beat, whereas Browns teams in the past, when I was growing up, that wasn't always the case. Like, we would beat maybe the tougher teams, but sometimes we just lose to the teams that we were supposed to.
And how do you respond to adversity? How do you deal with coming back from a game as bad as they played the first game out of the box, with all those expectations and all that hype and all that pregame nervous energy and so forth that went all to waste after that first drive? So I think Kitchens, he was wondering how they were going to respond. One of the comments again on TV was that Kitchens said, it'll be interesting to see what kind of response we get and how I feel on the plane going home. Did my team show up? Did they do what they were supposed to do? Did they overcome the adversity and show what kind of team they were? And I think they did. And that bodes well for us going into game 3.
Yeah, no matter what the Jets showed us, and no matter what the Jets were, it was still a Monday Night Football game, a national game with the bright lights and everything's there, and it's still an away game. In New York, in the New York market, it is not an easy place to go play. So we passed the test. We passed the first baby step test. We got off the schneid. We have a win. We're 1-1, second place in the division. I'm not as concerned as I was in the past about having that. I mean, I was listening to somebody today, and they were like, there were plenty of teams last year that lost their first game, went on to win 10. So we're okay.
I heard that too. Yeah,
we're okay losing the first game. And honestly, I was thinking about this too as I was driving back from South Florida today. If we're gonna lose and we're gonna get embarrassed and we're gonna have a bad, humbling type game, do it. Have it be the first game. We're going to have short memories of it. The people who traveled, who went to that game, unfortunately, I mean, they're disappointed that they spent all the money and made all that investment to go see and they were so energetic and jazzed up about it. But
But they're all going to show up again next week. If they were there week 1 and now we had a away game, week 3, they're back again. They'll be in the parking lot. They'll be tailgating, and there's going to be high expectations for us to do well, continue to improve. The thing that was good was not only did the team respond, but Baker didn't have 2 games in a row where he was subpar. He wasn't great. He did make some great throws. Guys made some great catches, but he's still got a lot to learn. And but I like the way he fires the ball. I like the way he steps up and throws it. He's not afraid. They had him in the game with less than a minute to go, trying to score another touchdown. They were throwing the ball. They should have just ran out the clock, but I don't know if they were trying to show up the Jets and Greg Williams because the game was over.
Yeah.
And they sacked him. Can you imagine if he got hurt on that last play, that he got sacked with 4 guys falling on him just to try to make another 20 yards? Maybe I don't think they would have kicked the field goal. That would have been rubbing salt in the wound if they had done that.
Yeah.
So I take exception to a couple of things that Freddie Kitchens did or allowed to have happen that could have been, and he's learning too. This is the first time he's the head coach.
Yep.
You hate to learn the hard way by having your quarterback get hurt, but maybe he's going to stop and think, hey, I should have taken Baker out. I should have taken Odell out. When we had the game in hand with 4 minutes to go and we're running the clock out, I think he even had Chubb in there at the end. He had Johnson run a few between 4 minutes and 2 minutes. And I thought Chubb was going to stay on the sidelines not to get hurt. But then I think he put him back in with under 2 minutes to go a game. Now, you got your other starters in there. So then you have to say to yourself, well, why do I just take these 2 starters out and not the other ones? But he could have protected a couple of guys a little bit more. But luckily, they did not get hurt. We only had the one injury, right, Mike?
I think Njoku was the only guy we lost.
Yeah.
I don't have an injury report. Chat, if anybody knows what the status is, I tried to look what was going on about Njoku. I know he left with concussion protocol, concussion, whatever.
Right.
It would be really interesting to see. I'm sure he'll be questionable going into.
And does anybody know why Stanton wasn't active for the game? Why?
I think they put him on the IR for a knee. I think he's on the IR. I think he is. He's out. So Stanton.
So are we looking for a third quarterback?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Freddie wants to carry more than 2 quarterbacks. I mean, which is dangerous.
I heard him say in preseason that he had experience in one of the other teams that when their first string went down, the second string went down, and the third was on the ropes. And it was a good thing that they had 3 quarterbacks, and that's why he kept 3 to begin with. And I never heard that Stanton had a knee injury or he was
me either
hurt or anything. And then all of a sudden he shows up. He's not even playing.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
And
Drew Stanton injury. Let's see what he's saying.
And Hilliard's still in concussion protocol too, right?
I believe so.
And then I heard that the Seifert, the quarterback for the Jets, he had I saw it on the internet, a season-ending ankle injury.
It looked like he separated his ankle. It looked like it.
I thought he broke it.
Yeah.
I thought he broke it. I knew he wasn't coming back. As soon as I saw it, I said, one, he's going to be lucky if he walks off the field.
It looked like he was walking, though. It looked like he was walking on the sidelines.
He limped into the locker room, and they said he was on crutches and in a boot after the game.
That's unfortunate.
But then I saw one-liner, either a tweet or something on ESPN that said season-ending ankle injury.
Well, Myles Garrett, I saw him. He tweeted out that he was really disappointed that he injured him.
That was terrible. He should have pulled up. Should have never hit him. 15 yards, and then he takes a quarterback out for a season. A backup quarterback out. You hate to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Myles Garrett's going out with the intent to injure, though.
No.
I think he's just a giant guy, and he's playing hard. And if you take a guy that like Myles Garrett, who's one of the biggest and strongest and most athletic guys, against some backup quarterback that could be selling insurance, it's not going to be a good combination.
Right,
So,
and they put a graphic up and they talked about it in the booth where he was the highest penalized defensive lineman last year with over 10 penalties, 10 or 12 penalties, and he had 3 last night in addition to what he had in the first game. So he must have 5 or 6 penalties on him, and he's only through 2 games. So Now he makes great plays and he sacks guys, but when you whack a quarterback late, that just sends a bad message all the way around. Disciplined, frustration. You third down and you set them back, and you're going to get the ball, and then you don't get the ball.
I mean, that's the thing. I think we have high expectations. We still have a very young team. I mean, all of our talent. We have the most talented team, 25 and under. That is a big. That's a big deal. So Myles Garrett, really, I mean, he's in his 3rd season. This is a guy who is a Pro Bowl caliber guy. His production is up already. He's healthy, and he's a force to be reckoned with. I hope he cleans up the penalties. But he plays aggressive. I'd rather have a guy like Myles Garrett playing aggressive than like a Jadeveon Clowney who doesn't even look like he wants to be out there.
Right.
Or like, remember Courtney Brown? Courtney Brown.
We only had the one turn. Yeah. We only had one eliminating mistakes for turnovers, and it was only that we didn't fumble the ball, and it was the one Baker interception, and the 3 interceptions he had last week. It was only the first one that was real bad when we had a chance to come back into the game, and he threw 5 yards behind Odell Beckham, and it was intercepted. That was a bad one. The other ones were just end of the game trying to do too much. And you're going to throw interceptions when that happens. So I put that behind him. But the fact that we didn't fumble the ball, that was great that we got that fumble at the end of the game, stopped them from getting another 3 or 7 points. Again, the game was in hand at that point. There wasn't enough time for them to come back, but it was nice that the defense stopped them. But we gave up some penalties that helped them a little bit, but clearly not as bad as the first game.
We got
a nice game from the penalty standpoint, turnovers, kicking. What was our third down efficiency, Mike, from the box score? I think we were pretty bad in third down proficiency as well. Obviously, the Jets were terrible, but I don't think our percentage was very good.
I can't tell from the box score, and my Chrome is now not responding, so I might be losing you here. If I am, I'll call you right back.
Yeah, okay. I'll see if I can look it up.
I can still hear you, but my Chrome is not responding, so I don't know if I have a RAM issue going on right now.
Okay.
No, it just cleaned back up. Yeah, I don't know if I can get that stat for you. But Rick Adkins is saying Garrett did not get a flag for the hit on Trevor that injured him for hitting him late. It was for hitting the quarterback too high. That's what the ref told him. So he hit him too high, not hitting him late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty weird. I feel bad for the Jets because I was sitting next to a Jets fan yesterday at the game or when I was watching the game, and it was pretty ugly. He was really disappointed, and I felt really bad for him. I don't know if we're. Can you tell if we're still live? I'm getting like a circle error thing here.
Yeah, the feed I'm watching you on, Mike, is not good.
Are you watching on YouTube though? Take a look. See what we got.
Yes, I am watching on YouTube.
double check to see how we doing here. Tell if we're still live. I'm getting like yep. Looks like we're good. Okay. Well, I can tell you.
Third. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Oh, I lost you for a second.
Mike,
yep, I can hear you.
Third down proficiency, 4 for 13 for us, 2 for 14 for the Jets.
Yikes. Yeah, it's a problem. That is a big problem. Well, guys, we are we're running up here. We get about 30 minutes in. Why don't we go ahead and wrap it up since we're kind of experiencing some like interesting technical difficulties at this moment. But guys, I want to say thank you for everybody who's going to come on. We'll do the giveaway. We'll actually do a giveaway next for the next pregame show that we're going to do. We're going to do another homage shirt. Actually, you know what I'll do? We'll do a homage giveaway on Twitter. So we'll do a Twitter giveaway this time. So everybody watching, stay tuned for the Twitter giveaway for a homage T-shirt. And guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Really good Browns game.
You're really breaking up, Mike. I can hardly understand a word you're saying.
Yep, we're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut it because we're having some technical issues. But guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.